The political and economic challenges faced by Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras and his leftist Syriza party after losing the European elections and local polls in 2019. Alexis Tsipras came to power in 2015 as a radical leader who promised to end austerity and challenge the European Union. He quickly found himself in a confrontation with Greece's creditors, who demanded more reforms and budget cuts in exchange for a third bailout of €89 billion. Tsipras called a referendum to reject the bailout terms, but then accepted them anyway, alienating many of his supporters and sparking a revolt within his party. Tsipras managed to stay in power for 4 years, despite breaking his pledges and implementing harsh measures that deepened the economic crisis and increased social hardship. He claimed that he had averted bankruptcy, restored growth, reduced unemployment, and strengthened Greece's role in Europe and the world. He also achieved a historic agreement with North Macedonia to end a decades-long dispute over the neighboring country's name. However, his achievements were not enough to convince the Greek voters, who punished him and his party in the European elections and local polls in May 2019. Syriza lost by more than 9 percentage points to the center-right New Democracy Party, led by Kyriakos Mitsotakis, the son of a former prime minister and a representative of the political establishment that Tsipras had vowed to overthrow. Mitsotakis appealed to the middle class and the young with his promises of tax cuts, investments, and reforms. He also criticized Tsipras for mismanaging the economy, failing to protect national interests, and dividing the society with polarizing rhetoric. He presented himself as a modern and competent leader who could bring stability and prosperity to Greece after a decade of turmoil. Tsipras admitted defeat and called for snap elections in July 2019, hoping to limit the damage and regroup in opposition. He faced an uphill battle to remain in power, as polls showed him trailing behind Mitsotakis by a wide margin. He tried to rally his base by highlighting his social policies, such as raising the minimum wage, restoring collective bargaining, and expanding healthcare coverage. He also warned that a return of New Democracy would mean a return of corruption, nepotism, and clientelism. The Greek people had to decide whether they wanted to reward Tsipras for his efforts or punish him for his failures. They had to choose between two different visions of Greece's future, one that continued on the path of austerity and integration with Europe, or one that sought more autonomy and sovereignty from Brussels. They had to vote not with their anger but with their minds. One of the most controversial moves by Tsipras during his time in power was the name change deal with North Macedonia. The agreement, signed in June 2018, ended a long-standing dispute between the two neighboring countries over the use of the name Macedonia, which is also the name of a northern region in Greece with historical and cultural significance.